All right. Hello, everyone. Shalom, everybody, and I hope my voice coming good from your side. Let me know, please, if you have any difficulty. Today I receive an email from one of you. He's speaking to a Muslim girl, and she said to him, like, this guy, he can refute what destiny is about. Now, I'm not going to play the whole video. It's just for, copyright, to avoid that. But however, the most important part of the video is what he will say in those few seconds.
First and foremost, brothers and sisters, we never attribute to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anything bad. Nothing bad comes from Allah.
Here you see, this is number one lie this guy he said. Nothing bad comes from Allah. And then he tell you, example, like, if your son he need a surgery, and he said there's bad and evil, but now he just said there's nothing bad come from Allah. But just to show you how Muslims they lie when they try to explain Islam, because Islam is very stupid. The Quran says anything bad come to you is from Allah. The guy he says we cannot attribute anything coming from Allah. All of this it says musiba, 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 musiba. Musiba is anything is so bad and evil. You see all of those words, musiba. What is musiba? No distress, disaster occur except by Allah leave. Any disaster happen to you, anything, is that bad or good? I mean, it's called disaster, and it's coming from the word isaba, or the word like he hit. You've been hit by something so bad. And then this guy he said in the video, we cannot attribute anything bad to be coming from Allah. And then he says, if you have a son, you need a surgery, you take him to the hospital. Well, there is difference between bad and evil. Like, what is bad? Well, the doctor is going to make a surgery, which means he's going to cut the skin of your son, and your son will bleed, and your son will be in pain. It's bad, but this is not evil. Okay, no problem. But this idiot, he forgot that the son himself will not need to have a surgery if Allah did not destine for him to have a surgery. And during the surgery, the son might die still. Who said that you do surgery and you are going to recover? And the Quran make it so clear that anything bad, even including death, like if somebody kill you, did he really kill you? No. It was destined by Allah to be killed by this person. So this guy, he is just a, like they grow a beard and they claim to be a sheikh. But in fact, anyone who have little knowledge about Islam, right away, he will notice that this is stupid lie. What he is saying is even totally disagreement with the teaching of Islam. In fact, this guy, he become an apostate. Here, if you see, this is Mufti Mink, and we showed you the video of Mufti Mink speaking about destiny many times. And he mentioned the story of a thief who was caught because of his theft. So the caliphate asked him, they brought him to the caliphate to question him about his theft, to question him about his crime, and he have to punish him, because according to Islam, if somebody steal an egg, we cut his arm, which is very stupid, because you see the Bible says nobody will be punished for stealing for hunger, for starving, because obviously this guy, he did not steal until he become threatened by death, and he is not stealing money, he's stealing food. He just want to survive one more day. In Islam is different. So here they brought the thief to the caliphate, and there is a conversation happening between the thief and the caliphate. You know,
he needed to be punished because he stole. So he comes to Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu and he uses the same line. He says, "Oh Umar, oh Amirul Mu'mineen, how can you punish me for having stolen when it was predestined? My deeds were already written by Allah
see?
subhanahu wa ta'ala." Now that's quite a good argument if you were to look at it.
See here, Mufti Mink, he is speaking something totally the opposite of what this guy is saying. This guy, he said that we cannot attribute anything bad to Allah. Is being a thief is something bad or good? I mean, everybody have to agree it's bad, right? Okay. But as you see, Mufti Mink, he did not say, oh, he's wrong. In fact, he said, if you think about it, this is a very good argument. Listen carefully. What the guy, a crime is, he's a thief.
Deeds were already written by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for having stolen when it was Amirul Mu'mineen. How can you anhu? And he uses the same. So he comes to Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu.
Let us go back a little bit.
He needed to be punished. He needed to be, one of the narrations, he needed to be punished because he stole. So he comes to Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu and he uses the same line. He says, "Oh Umar, oh Amirul Mu'mineen, how can you punish me for having stolen when it was predestined? My deeds were already written by Allah."
And notice here, Mufti Minki agree. It's predestined for this man to be a thief. He did not say, no, this is not true. He said, in fact, this is a pretty good argument if you want to think about it. And even the caliphate, he agreed. The caliphate, he agreed. And look what the caliphate, he said.
Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now that's quite a good argument if you were to look at it. Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu was one ahead of this man. He says, well, let's punish this man because it was predestined that we were going to punish him as well.
See?
Wow.
Even the punishment, it's predestined. So the one who killed, the one who killed, the one who been killed, all is a destiny. The one who stole, the one who is the victim of the theft, the one who will punish for the theft, all is a predestined to do that. So according to the stupid garbage of Muhammad, we are just a programmed machines. It's like programmed our system and his system and and it's programmed by time too, which means all of us, we act in the same time to make one thing happen. So I take my gun, I go to your house, and then maybe you are not at the house when I'm going to go to your house. But Allah destined for you to go to your house. By the time I arrive, I find you there and I shoot you. And then Allah destined for you that I will be able to shoot you and not miss. Or maybe Allah will destine that I will shoot but I will miss. It's all destiny. So this guy here, he is a thief. It's destined for him to steal and to be successful in his theft. And Allah destined for him to be caught. And then Allah destined for the caliphate to punish him. So when this potato, he said we cannot attribute any evil to Allah. He is just an idiot. He did not know anything about Islam. Period. We know as an example, this is Sahih al-Bukhari. If you know Arabic, you can read the Arabic. All right. Muhammad, he insists that everything is a destiny. We were in the company of a prophet in the funeral of somebody, etc. Blah blah, and there he said, "There is none of you but has his place written for him in paradise or in hell, fire." They said, "Oh Allah, apostle, shall we depend on the fact that and give up the work? Like, okay, you just told us it's destiny. Shall we stop working?" He carried on, says, no, no, no. On doing, he did not say good deed, by the way. You see here, they are adding things. No, he did not say that. He says, do work. Like you live your life. All right? Live your life. He didn't say go do good deed. This is a fabrication of the translator. You can use Google translation yourself, and you will see he did not say that. 4, everybody will find it easy to do because it's destiny. No, do your work normally because it's destiny. What will lead him, this is between two brackets, to his distant place? They see it. And here you see how stupid the translator is when he add the word good deed. You know, because Muhammad, he was speaking to the Muslims, not to the kuffar, and he said none of you, and they are Muslims, remember they are Muslims, none of you but has his place written for him in paradise or in hellfire. So you are a Muslim, you might be go to hell, you might go to heaven because it's written. It doesn't matter if you are a Muslim or not. He's not, Muhammad is not speaking to non-Muslim here, speaking to Muslim. This is why they say to him, oh Prophet of Allah. They call him Prophet of Allah because they are Muslims. If I am there, I will say, stupid Muhammad, what are you talking about? I will not call him, oh Apostle of Allah. So Muhammad confirming that you are a Muslim. And what a Muslim do? What a Muslim do? He pray to Allah. He kissed the black stone, worshipping idols. He hate his enemy. He kill, he rape, he beat his wife. He have sex with the children. So why he won't go to heaven when this is all the requirements supposedly to be a Muslim? And he obey the Prophet? No. Still, they are obeying the Prophet. As you see, they are following Muhammad, calling him, oh Messenger of Allah, considering what he say as a command, yet they might go to hell. And he said to them, no, do the work. Because that work, anyway, which is destined for you. It's destined, doesn't matter. You know, you have to do it. Another example. If a person, he fornicate, is fornication bad or good? Remember, this guy in the video, he said we cannot, you know, consider anything evil coming from Allah. No, but this is false. Muhammad, he made it clear that even when you fornicate, it was a destined for you, and not only destined, is destined exactly what you will do. Even the kisses, how many kisses you will kiss, how many times, you excuse my language, you will put your private part in and out, how many women, when, afternoon, in the morning, at night. All of this time and action and when is destined by Allah. If you ask a Muslim, just to give you another example of the stupidity of Islam, when we speak about justice, and then in the same time we believe in destiny, like I can say in Christianity that God, he said the punishment of sin is death. I can accept this kind of destiny, but the death is not like God deciding for you when you will die by time and minute, but the penalty of your sin, you will not live forever. So he will let you for the natural, no protection. You know, you live in this nature who God created, have sickness, have diseases, have monster beast, you know, enemies, criminals. So you are exposed to all the element of death. That is in Christianity what's called the penalty of sin. You are not protected by God no more. The eternal life is taken away from you. So now you are by your own. Your physical body is by its own. So you go to life, you can be injured, you can get sick, you can get infection, you can get you know, killed, you can be eaten by a eaten by a lion or a hyena. But it's not God who sent the hyena to eat you. In Islam, no. In fact, even according to Islam, Allah have a dog Allah have a dog. He sent him to eat his enemies. Like as an example, if you go to the chapter of An-Najm, in that chapter, Muhammad, he said, aren't you afraid that Allah will send his dog to eat you? Like if you go here, all right. وَالنَّجْمُ إِذَا هَوَى, chapter 53, verse number 1. And by the way, here you see how the Muslims are adding sentences to the Quran are not there. There's no in the name of Allah, because at that point Muhammad, he never heard of the name Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. This has later been added to the Quran after he learned about it from a guy, his name is Rahman. So he received a letter from Rahman, Rahmanul Yamama, and then he started calling his God Allah Rahman. And then the Arab, they said, well, Muhammad looked like he have a new God. His name is Rahman. And then Muhammad, he says to them, well, I call Allah Rahman or any other names. All the beautiful names belong to Allah. So here we go. Muhammad, he hijacked all the names. And all the names become the names of Allah. All those verses, but let us see, go here. Anyway, this is not out of our topic, but just to give you a note about this issue here. Muhammad, he stole a name Ar-Rahman. So they say, answering them about what? They are saying, who is this Rahman? He never mentioned him. Muhammad all his life never mentioned Rahman. Never. Suddenly, right away, every day, Rahman. Why? He just received a letter from guy, his name is Rahman. His God, his name is Rahman too. So he started using the word Rahman. They told him, why you are using the word Rahman? He says, call him Ar-Rahman or whatever name, for all the best names belong to Allah. Can you believe it? Now going back to our topic.
How you doing tonight, Christian Prince?
Yes, my friend. Are you a Muslim?
Hey, how you doing? I was invited by AB Honda to talk about God tonight.
Are you a Muslim?
I'm a Muslim. I am a Christian Lutheran, but
sorry, we take only Muslims to the stage for now, guys. Don't invite anyone. Don't just invite people to the stage. Don't do that. You know what topic? I'm not here at a coffee shop looking for somebody to drink coffee with me. This is not what I'm here for. All right? So, going back to our topic. When Muhammad, he mentioned Ar-Rahman, وَالنَّجْمُ إِذَا هَوَى, which is very stupid, by the way. I mean, if you are a person trying to learn about the God of Islam, what does it mean? By the star as it goes down. Who's talking? Allah. Okay, what does this have to do with God? Nothing. Secondly, do the star go down? No. They don't. Muhammad, he cannot differentiate between the meteor and the stars. According to the stupid Muhammad, like when the Muslims, they speak about the unlimited knowledge of Allah. Your God do not even know the difference between meteor and a star. In fact, Muhammad, he think that when you see a star coming down, Allah is shooting the shaitan in his ass by a star. As he say in the Quran here. We adorn the lower heaven with the stars. I don't know who is the translator. Oh, this is a Itani idiot. No wonder. So we adorned the stars, the lowest heaven. According to Muhammad, the stars only in the lowest heaven. Why the stars there? Because Allah decorate, so we can see them. But most of the stars we don't see. What we see is very limited. Our eyes is limited anyway. It doesn't matter how far, how close they are. And then he says, and we made those stars as a missiles to shoot shaitan with it. And then they say to you that Allah unlimited knowledge. So shaitan, who can sleep on your nose, now he is passing through the zone of the earth and the heaven. By the way, there's a verse in the Quran says shaitan cannot do that. Why? Because if he try, Allah will shoot him, as you see. Allah will shoot his ass. Going back, when Muhammad he mentioned in chapter 53, verse number 1, about the stars, his cousin, he said to him, I don't want to believe. Muhammad, he said to him, aren't you afraid from the dog of Allah? Aren't you afraid from the dog of Allah will eat you? So again, Allah, he sent his dogs to eat you. And then here you ask yourself, if the Muslim believe that if Allah wants something to happen, he say B is going to be. Huh? Why we are sending a dog to eat somebody, you know? Aren't you afraid from the dog of Allah to eat you? This is a religion from God. The God he sent a dog. Let us see. No, we don't have it in English. But anyway, if we search in Arabic, we will find it says, aren't you afraid that Allah dog will eat you? And here in the story, in this interpretation here, it says Allah he sent a lion, which is the dog. The dog of Allah is have a sound of a lion, but he's a dog, just to let you know. All right, so the guy he refused to believe in Allah, so Allah he sent a lion, so Allah he set him a lion near Haran and snatched him from among the friends and took his place. Okay, because he don't want to believe. And here we would that will take us to other issue. As long Allah he decide the destiny of your lifehood, if we go in the hadith, we will find this. Before you are created, this is not about the knowledge of Allah. No. You see, the Muslim, they try to make it macaroni by speaking about the knowledge of Allah. This has have nothing to do with the knowledge. Destiny is not the knowledge. Destiny is He deciding for you what you will do exactly. Not knowing only. For sure you know it then, because He decides for you what you will do. And you cannot change that. As you see, all those hadith, when you are a semen, Allah He sent an angel inside your mother vagina. Look like the angels, they are good to do intercourse, and they go inside, and then they write all the stages of destiny for every human being. As we read here, when the drop of semen remain in the womb for 40 and 45 nights, and this is alone proof that Muhammad is a fraud, because the semen cannot live for more than 5 days, but according to Muhammad it can be between 40 to 45 nights. The angels come to what? Come to the semen inside the women, and then he speak, he says, my Lord, which means Allah, will He be good or evil? Listen carefully. The potato shake, he said, we cannot connect any evil to Allah. But as you see, you are just a semen now. Allah will decide for you, you will be good or evil. And both those things would be written. You cannot change it. Then the angel will say, my Lord, he will be male or female. Allah will decide you will be male or female. And both those things will be written. and then his deed and action, and his death and his lifehood also recorded. So anything you do, it is written to do as a destiny, not as knowledge. Not only I'm writing, I mean, what the point anyway? Just think about it. What the point Allah writing those things? Where He is writing it? He's writing them on you. If it's about knowledge, and the Muslim they say Allah is Almighty, well, the knowledge of Allah do not need to be written anywhere if it is for Him, because Allah He knows, supposedly He's God, right? In fact, even this one Allah failed. According to Muslims, Allah He had a tablet. He wrote all the information there. Well, why God need to write everything if He is the Almighty, who have all the knowledge, and He do not forget? I write, you give me your phone number, I have to write it, because maybe 2 minutes after I might forget. You give me an address, I have to write it. You give me your name, I have to write it. So we write things because simply we have a problem with memory, and we are not eternal. But if Allah is eternal, He's writing for who? For you, you cannot see it. If it's written, you are a seaman now. It's written where? The angels enter into the women. It's not outside. And then if the Muslim they say, I mean, the whole idea is a joke. If Allah, the Muslim, this guy in the video, he says, if Allah wants something to happen, He say B is going to be. Well, why Allah don't say B is going to be? What this angel coming here and writing and all this drama for? No point. Right? There's no point of this drama. But then a Muslim, he might argue, well, no, this is not, this is just about knowledge. False. Because you will see here that Muhammad, he made it even more clear that a person of you, after the angel, the same story, after the angel, he write all, you know, your deeds, all your actions. The same story repeated here. Muhammad, he says, your creation as a human gathered in the form of semen, which is stupid to say, in the womb of your mother for 40 days, and then it become a clinging thing. In fact, it says dead blood, alaqa, in similar periods, so 40 days again. Then it become a lump of a flesh for 40 days again. So the total days of a human being to be created is 120 days. 40 plus 40 plus 40. Then Allah, He will send the angels who breathe life. And here you notice, you remember Mimi Hijab when he said, anyone remember what Mimi Hijab he said?
Responsible, both in a partial sense and a full sense. You said responsible, both in a partial sense and a full sense. You said causal overdetermination. I'm sorry to say you have not answered the question. The question is, can you have two subjects that are fully responsible, one to a degree of 100%, fully responsible for the creation of one thing in its entirety? For example, can you have two mothers that are fully responsible, fully responsible for the production of one child? Fully responsible.
But this is what happened in Islam, not in Christianity. You see, this donkey, he forgot that in his religion, the creation of a human being is done by two, not by Allah alone. As you see, Allah, He sent the angel. Who is the one who breathed life into this flesh? The angel. It's not Allah. So who is fully responsible now? Two. Allah, He decided to create you, but Allah cannot finish the job alone. Allah, He sent an angel. The angel, he breathed and he gave life. So the angel actually, he is the life giver, not Allah. According to the stupid Muhammad, every life is given to any human being or any creature is given from angels, not from God. So in Islam, the creators, this is why the Quran says Allah is the best of the creators. And this is another mistake in the Quran, because according to the 99 names of Allah, His name is Al-Khaliq, which means the creator. But then we find that there's many creators in Islam. Specifically when we speak, not limited only to creating babies, as you see. After Muhammad, he claimed how Allah he created the baby, which is very funny and stupid. There's no way God will say such a stupid statement. As you see, that you are a semen, and then you became a dead blood, and then the blood became a lump, and then the lump, became bones, and then we close the bones with the flesh, and then, blessed be Allah, the best of the creators. For according to Islam, the process, all of these processes happen by action of angel. This is why here it says we. The Muslim, they say to you, Allah, he say we as a majestic form. No. Because as you see, the one is involved of the creation of the child is not Allah alone. Is Allah, in fact, he just sent the angel. The angel is doing everything. The one who give life, how the human being is exist without the angels is breathing life. Who breathe life? The angel. So, and here you notice that the angel, he decide, he asked Allah, this is now responsibility of Allah. The angel, he breathed life. This is his responsibility. Allah will tell the angels what he should write down. He's commanded him to record 4 things. It's provision, term of life. And here I want to go back to term of life after we finish this. Remind me of that, please. In this word, it's conduct, bad or good, and whether he will be happy or miserable. You cannot even decide to be happy. Can you be happy, Muslim? No. Can you even decide to be miserable, Muslim? No. Allah will decide for you. The Muslim now, they will try to play the trick. He says this is about the knowledge of Allah, not about the destiny. He make you miserable. No. Read carefully. Muhammad continues saying, by the one beside whom there is no true God, verily one of you perform the action of dwellers of Jannah, which means heaven, and there is only 1 cubit between him and Jannah, when what is foreordained would come to pass. And then he performed the action of inmate of hell, and he entered. Boom. The false sheikh in the video, he said, we cannot connect anything considered to be evil to Allah. How truthful that is? Absolutely false.
This is called qada, and once it's done, nothing can change it. Qada and qadar, predestination, fate of everybody, your destiny, Allah's will, nothing happens without Allah's will, is good and bad. What does it mean that there is good and bad qadar? First and foremost, brothers and sisters, we never attribute to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anything bad.
You see the liar? Here, as you see Muhammad making it so clear, Allah, he foreordained for you the bad to do. Is an action which will take you to hell. Is a bad action or good action? It's bad. Muhammad, he made it so clear. So this guy, he grew a beard, but in fact he is a mudallis, a liar, a hypocrite, a dealer, sales dealer. He is selling Islam out to the naive, to the dummy. But anyone who read, he will notice in 2 seconds that this is false. However, this is not enough. Let me show you more disgusting stupidity and silence all the Abdul. One day I was riding behind the Prophet when he said, "Oh boy, I will instruct you in some matter. Be watchful of Allah commandment of Allah." The Muslim adding between two bracket commandment of Allah. All right. He will preserve you, safeguard his right. He will be ever with you. If you beg of him alone, and if you need assistance, supplicate to Allah for help. And remember that if all the people gather to benefit you, they will not be able to benefit you. Listen carefully here. If all the people gather to benefit you, they will not be able to benefit you except by Allah ordain it for you. Do you see it? People don't want to do bad for you. People want to do good to you. Why Allah will not let it happen? What is the business of Allah to let something good not to be able to accomplish? Let us say you are a poor guy and there is somebody will help you. Why Allah will not allow it? Because it's not destiny. And Muhammad, he mentioned again the opposite. And if all of them gather to harm you, they will not be able to afflict you with anything other than which Allah had predestined against you. So if Allah predestined that those people will kill you, they will kill you. Because Allah, he wrote everything in his pen, and the ink dried up. You cannot change it. Do you see it? Do you see how this Abdul is lying? Let us continue. All those hadith is about destiny. But let me show you something more clear. Read with me. Can lead any into temptation concerning Allah except such as are themselves go into blazing fire, he said, except the one whom Allah destined that he should go to hell. Huh? So can shaitan, can anything, make you do bad? Nobody except the one who Allah already destined that he should go to hell. Are you with me, guys? Are we listening? Are we taking notes? So no one can tempt you to do the bad unless that temptation itself is destined to you and to him to happen and to be successful. The previous hadith we showed you that you do the act of people who will go to heaven and you might go to hell because what Allah ordained is going to happen, the destiny. And the opposite, you act the people who will go to hell and then you might go to heaven. In case you forgot the hadith, I can reopen it again. So the guy, he spent his life doing the action which will take him to heaven, supposedly, as Muhammad told him in the Quran. Right? But then what Allah ordained for him is going to take over, and he enter hell. Like, you are almost going to go to heaven and then you enter hell. Why? Because what Allah He destined for you is going to overcome. And then a person who do the opposite, a person who do act the action of people of hell, and almost he going to go to hell. There's only one arm distance between him and hell, and then he performed the action of doer of Jannah and he enter it. Why he performed it? Because it was foreordained. It was the destiny of Allah. As you see, all those stories showing us, like, again, that this guy in the video is just a scam. So if I now convert to Islam and I perform the action will make me go to heaven, am I going to go to heaven? No. Because as you see, it's not the action you choose to do, it is what Allah destined for you will take over at the end. By one there other whom there is no deity, verily one of you perform the action of people of paradise, enter there is but an arm's link between him and heaven. And then what has been written overtake him. So he act the action of people of hellfire. The guy, he said, we can attribute anything evil to Allah. We can attribute anything bad to Allah. Well, something will take me to hell. Is that bad or good? So what is written for me by Allah will overtake him or me, and then I go to hell. And then those liars, they keep saying to us, this is about the knowledge of Allah. This is different. This is have nothing to do with the knowledge. Big fat liars. And we read a story about a child an infant funeral. Muhammad and Aisha, they attend. Aisha, she said, well, you know what? This infant, he will go to heaven. You saw those hadith. This infant, he will go to heaven. Okay, why he will go to heaven? Because he's an infant. He did not commit sin. He did not reach the age even to commit sin. And as you see, this is very authentic. The Messenger of Allah was called to funeral of a child among the Ansar. It's a group of the Arab, very lousy, fornicators, you know, pagan worshippers, and Muhammad, he supported them, but he was not really just with them, because simply he looked at them down because they are not from the high quality of the Arab. However, he followed their religion, as an example, worshipping Allat al-Uzza, like the two idols which the Muslim now they call it, like they practice it during the Hajj. So he considered it as a practice from the shrine of Allah. If you remember, we spoke about As-Safa and Al-Marwa, and a group of the Muslims, they wanted that. A group of the Muslims don't want that, because this is obviously paganism. Muhammad didn't want to lose this group, so he told them, you know what? As-Safa and Al-Marwa is from the practice on the shrine of Allah. As-Safa and Al-Marwa, there was an idol for a male, an idol for a female, and the pagan Arab used to go between them. Muhammad, he accepted that, he joined it to Islam, and he considered that this is part of the shrine of Allah and the practice of Allah. And here you see how Muhammad, he's open to add any religion to his religion, and yet he claim about destiny. Is it destiny from Allah to add paganism? Yes, because Muhammad is a fraud. He didn't want to lose this group. He knew how much they are attached to it. So he said, okay, you know, As-Safa and Marwa, it's from the shrine of Allah. Just keep going. And since then, the Muslims, they are following the same pagan practice of those group. However, here, the child is from Al-Ansar. He is a Muslim, supposedly. His families are Muslims. Aisha, she said, "O Messenger of Allah, glad tidings for him," which means the baby. "He's one little bird of paradise, whom never did evil or reached the age of doing evil." I mean, can we make it more clear than this? He's an infant. So Aisha, she is thinking the same as any Christian think. Jesus says, if you don't become like the little ones, you will not enter the kingdom of my Father. So Jesus make it clear that the little ones, when they die, they go to heaven. Muhammad, no. Aisha say yes. Muhammad, he says, peradventure, Aisha, it might be not so. What Aisha, she said? The baby infant, he will go to heaven. Why? Well, he could not commit sin yet. What is his sin? Aisha, she think that Islam is the same as a Christianity. The wage of sin is death. Muhammad, he confirmed that sin have nothing to do where you go. It's destiny. So Muhammad, he says it might be not so. O Aisha, for Allah created people of paradise. He created them for it when they were still in their father backbone, and has created people of hell the same when they are in their father backbone. It doesn't matter you commit sin or not. Another hadith. Anyone remember somebody they quote for you a verse from the Bible, like just as he chose us in him before the foundation of the world. Well, this is a false understanding of the Bible, my friend. God, he chose us, but we chose to refuse God. Just to show you how false your understanding, guys, Jesus, he chosen 12 disciples. Is that correct? The Messiah, he chosen 12 disciples, correct? Is it true that one of them betrayed Jesus? Is it true? Okay, free will. Is it true that Jesus says to his disciple, who of you want to leave to? He made a speech. Many people don't like it, and they left. Jesus said to them, who of you want to leave? Follow them. They said, no, Lord, we want to stay with you. That is a Christianity. So God has chosen us does not mean that we are in a destiny where we are going to do the deeds and the bad as he destined for us. That's a false understanding. That's why the Bible says, and the Lord said, peace for those who love peace, and no peace for the wicked man. So did God make you wicked? No. So the one who is quoting from the Bible is a fool. He is a fake person. He is misquoting the Bible, and we know all the Bible is about. If you deserve to go to heaven, you go to heaven. And he keep quoting for you, you know. The destiny in Christianity as simple as the following. Not everyone says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of my Father, but the one who do his will. That destroy any of those foolish liars who they claim that we Christians believe in the same destiny as Muslims. So what you need to do, you call Jesus Lord, Lord all day long. It doesn't grant you to go to heaven, because simply if you don't do the will of the Father, but do you do your own will? Even the Messiah, he said to the Father, let your will be done. Is that correct, guys? Is that true? Even the Messiah, he said to the Father, let your will be done. So the Messiah himself, he gave his will to be the will of the Father. So when somebody tried to quote for you from the Old Testament or New Testament, he is just a fraud. Because all the Bible is about what? Is about you commit sin, you pay for it. And for God he loved the world, he sent his only begotten Son to save the world. Well, if it's destiny, oh, no, there is no need to send anybody. It's destiny to go to hell or to heaven. Correct? There's no need. So every single page in the Bible refute those liars, because the whole idea of Christianity that it is you who change your destiny. Who is the Antichrist? Is the one who denied the Son and the Father. Well, what make him Antichrist? He decided to deny. It's not destiny from God. Correct? Do you see how easy to smash them? God, he chosen a man. His name is Adam. In fact, Adam was a name given to Eve too. Adam and Eve, both of them, they were called Adam. God, he chose him to live in a garden forever. God said to Adam, don't do this. Don't do that. Adam decided to do what? What God says not to do. Correct? My friend, you see, this potato who keep posting verses. Just to give you an example. This guy in the chat, how many verses I just quoted refuting all what he said? And look, he keep posting for us verses. Psalm 139, 15, 16. This is about predestiny. You know, stupidity is amazing. And those people, in fact, anyone who claimed to be a Christian, he believed that God destined for you to be evil. He is no Christian. He's satanic. Remember that. Because part of the destiny is to destine for you to do fornicate, to do kill, to do sin. That's what destiny is. You're going to take destiny and says, oh, he destined for me to do good. No. Destiny is destiny. Either you believe in destiny or you don't believe in it. So if we believe that God is justice and this is our God, then why will we be punished or even rewarded if it's destiny? So the whole idea of penalty or reward is destroyed if you believe in destiny. So only satanic people, and I confirm that to you, they love the idea of destiny. Why? Because now I can feel more comfortable about my sin by saying it is destiny. You go and you rape a woman, or you sleep with the women, or 10 women, or 100 women. And then you say to yourself at the end of the day, as the Muslim they say, it was a destiny. Allah written for me to fornicate with all those women. It's not my fault. So those are not a Christian. If somebody mostly this guy is a Muslim trying to claim himself a Christian. If he is claiming to be a Christian, he's a Muslim in fact. He believed that his God is evil. He destined for him to fornicate. And then this stupid God, he is going to punish him for destiny. When the Bible speaks about God in ability and God plan, that is different from destiny. God plan, as an example. So God, he planned to create a human being. So God created a man in his image. That is the plan of God. This is something I did not choose. This was destiny. But destiny, not the destiny you are talking about. So God made decision. He will create me. He did not ask me. He did not question, do you like it? No, no. He created me. I came to existence. And then the God who created me without asking me, he was fair and just with me. He wanted me to be happy. So he made me live in a garden, not in a misery. He thought about me, I will be lonely, so he created a companion for me. So now both we live in heaven. Loving God. He gave us all what we need. That is the destiny in Christianity. And then he said, if you do this, death you die. That is the only destiny we have. So God, he did not destine for you doing it, but he destined for you the penalty. So the word destiny is a language word. It's about what it's meant, not necessarily what it says. Like I can say now, I love Muhammad, but everyone knows I am being sarcastic. I'm saying the opposite, even though I say the word. So the word can have many meaning, depending on what it's meant and who is talking and what he is presenting. So when we speak about destiny in the Bible, about God knowing, God has chosen people, but still those people, they have their own free will all the way. As an example, we have a very famous name in the Bible. His name is David. Correct? We know about David's story, right? David, he sent a man to war so he can have his wife. Is that correct? Is that what God commanded him to do? We know the answer from the Bible. God punished him, destroyed his kingdom. Is that true? God punished him, destroyed his kingdom. The son from that woman died, and then his kingdom demolished. Well, if it's destiny, why God wouldn't punish him? Right? So those foolish ones, we laugh at them. They are just as they have an IQ of a donkey. You know the donkey? The donkey is smarter than you. You are just a certified Muslim donkey. You have a brain of a mice. Either you believe that God will punish you because you did something wrong, or you believe it's destiny, then God have no right to punish you. Right? All right, just give me a break. Don't, You want to join me? The one, his name is God Tariyun, alone? Okay, I will invite you to join me in Discord. Do you dare to join me? You have a big mouth in the chat. Do you dare to join me? In Discord right now. Do you dare to join me in Discord? Are you going to play dead? You see? All right. Just get out of here. I give you a chance, but you are just a coward. Anyway, I will ignore you. So, all the idea, the whole Jesus came to save us. Why? If it's destiny, there's no need. Well, it's destiny already to go to heaven or to hell for every one of us. It's already written. No, we don't believe in that. God, the Messiah says, whoever believe in me and die, he will live. Whoever what? Believed in me. Not destiny. Knock. You knock, and I will open for you. Not destiny. You have to knock. Come to me. You have to come. That's your action. He came to you. I came to my people and my people rejected me. Is it destiny? No. So those foolish people, we laugh at them. They are deceivers and they are not Christians. And they are Muslims. So this guy is a Muslim for sure. You know, there's no question that he's a Muslim. We continue. Then we find here, additional to all of this, anyone cannot be deceived, cannot be tempted, cannot go to hell except the one whom Allah destined that he should go to hell. Do you see it? This is Islam. No one can tempt you to do bad. No one can make you go out astray. It's Allah. In fact, in the Quran, we have the following verses. Are you going to guide the one who Allah misguided, misled? Can you? Chapter 4, verse number 88. Do you want to guide those whom Allah has led astray? Whomever Allah led astray, you will never find for him a way. So is it a destiny? Yes. Is leading astray evil? Yes. Big evil. In fact, in Arabic, it doesn't say led astray only, it says misled. Ah, this is Aitani. No wonder. Are you going to make someone believe when Allah is the one who made him disbelieve and deceived him? What's wrong with you? You cannot do that. You see it? All right, we have Shafi'i. Go ahead, Shafi'i. Shafi'i from Senegal. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what do you think about Allah misleading people?
First thing I want to complain in your Discord why people mute me and defend me. Why?
Answer now.
Unnecessary.
What do you think about why Allah mislead people?
I don't want Allah never mislead people. Never.
It's in front of you. It says, do you want to guide the one who Allah misguide?
Misguide?
Yeah.
So misguide for what?
Misguide from Allah.
Misguide for what?
Misguide, so not follow Allah, not to believe in Allah. Do you want to guide those who Allah, He Himself is the one, He misguide them? All those verses in the Quran, let me share with you in the screen. All those verses in the Quran is about Allah misguiding people. You see my screen? You see the screen?
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So why Allah is misguiding people?
Allah misguide, but Allah like to whom?
Like what?
Like to whom? Allah love to whom? Allah like to whom?
Lie?
Okay, Allah misguide you. Okay, suppose Allah misguide somebody rape. Okay, this Allah wish he rape, but Allah doesn't like him.
I don't care about liking the person or not. Why Allah is
Yeah.
misleading people?
How? Yeah, example like you, Allah said, I drop a rain. Every non-believer also he drop a, every non-believer land also he drop a rain, and he drop a rain also
What
believers
drop
people
what? I
also.
have no idea what this guy is talking. Anybody understand what he's saying? Drop what?
Rain,
Rain?
water.
What does have to do with rain? I'm talking about
Ah,
people. Why Allah will
yes.
mislead a human being? As an
I
example,
said you, if
when Adam committed sin, did Adam
yes,
commit sin by his choice or because Allah misguided Adam?
Allah misguided Adam
So why?
because Allah give him brain. You use your brain.
But you just said Allah misguided Adam.
Yes, Allah misguided. If Adam didn't mistake, how he get out, how
So
he
who
out
is
from Jannah,
okay? Adam,
from
he have a
paradise.
brain. Allah,
Adam,
okay.
no, no,
So so
Adam. This story where Adam did mistake. This story on earth or in paradise.
exactly. So who is misleading Adam in paradise? Allah or Shaitan?
Okay, this Allah wrote script. But Allah, after mistake, Adam mistake, he told to Allah, forgive me, forgive me.
Why he
And
need to?
Shaitan told,
If Allah is the one who did lie to him, it should be the opposite. It should Allah ask Adam for forgiveness, not Adam asking Allah for forgiveness, because Allah is the one who misled Adam. Adam is the good guy.
okay, mislead.
In Islam, Allah
After
is the bad guy. Okay, listen. If I lie to you, should you ask me to forgive you, or I should ask you to forgive me? If I lie to you,
Okay, suppose I mislead you. This is a kingdom of Allah. This is a script of Allah. What we can do? He misguide you,
here
but
we go. So you see, guys, what we can do. This is the script of Allah. Allah decide this plan. What we can do. This is what I'm saying.
okay.
Islam is a stupid
If
religion. So Allah decide to mislead Adam. Allah he decide
this
in destiny.
Allah say this is Allah said, this is script. You grateful either or ungrateful, as you like, as you like.
Allah he decide for me what I will do. Correct?
Correct. Allah
Okay.
decide you, but Allah
Okay.
Allah
If
decide
Allah
you.
decide for me my sin, why I need to be punished if the one who decide to do sin is Allah, not me?
Because after what you done any what I say what bad deed, if you do any bad deed, yes, you know, before this bad deed you are doing, you know that it is a bad deed,
No, you
and
don't.
you done.
You see, it is written for
Huh?
Adam 40 years before his creation. Allah he wrote,
Yes,
Allah he wrote for Adam that he should do this 40 years. Can Adam disobey Allah? Because even if I disobey, I now commit sin. So Allah,
yes, every day
so Allah, listen, Allah he decide for me to do sin, to disobey him 40 years before he created me. And then even if I
Yes.
decide not to do the plan of Allah, I became a sinner because I disobey him. So I have to obey Allah. I have to obey Allah. It's a destiny. And then when I do it, I became sinner. Madness.
What is the purpose of the hellfire? If you are not sinner, why Allah produce hellfire?
Why I will go to hellfire if it's Allah who made me sinner?
Yes, you are sinner. There is a behind this your this lot of reason is there. Allah say Adam forgiveness regarding, but Shaitan what I say, a lot of proud Shaitan. Proud, lot of proud. He don't want to.
But Shaitan himself is a Muslim. Look, listen. When your prophet says Allah decide for Adam to do this sin, that means Allah is the one who decide for Shaitan and Adam to work together to accomplish the story. So Shaitan and Adam, both of them, they are victims of Allah. In fact, the Quran says
course.
that Shaitan, of course, yeah, he agrees. See, guys, agree. So Allah,
Yes.
he decide for
Agree.
Shaitan, he will send Shaitan to Adam. Shaitan, he will speak to Adam. Allah, he already decide to mislead Adam. So Shaitan is doing just an act. It's a movie. You know, Adam is an actor, Shaitan is an actor, and the director is Mr. Allah. And then when they finish the movie, Allah will punish them for doing his
So
movie.
as per your, okay, if you don't like this script, as per your script, what will be happen? As per your script, all sinner also enter the paradise.
Oh, what?
All sinner, sin,
No.
who did sin.
No, in
Yes.
Christianity, no, in
As per your
Christianity,
script.
no, in Christianity.
No, give me your script. Every Christian, every Jesus believer enter the paradise.
No, 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 no.
In
No, 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 no,
in
no.
spite
You
of
see, you Muslims, no,
uh,
it's this is you Muslim who believe in that, not us. For us, Jesus said it clearly. Not
oh,
everyone says to me,
what?
God, God. This is what Jesus says, not up to you. Not everyone says to me, God, God will enter the kingdom of my
What is,
Father, but the one who do His will. So to go to heaven, you have to do the will of the Father. What is the will of the Father?
what is the will of the Allah?
The will of Allah is to fornicate. The will of the Father is not to fornicate. As an example, when a Muslim he fornicate, is that his choice or the choice of Allah?
Choice of Allah.
Okay, but why you will go to heaven then?
So
If okay, listen. If a woman she did fornication, a man did fornication, why the Muslim they punish the man? If Allah He made a destiny for them to do it.
Allah said you simple logic. By Allah show you roadmap. You have to follow roadmap.
It's
If there is a
destiny.
no
What
roadmap,
roadmap? It's a destiny. Destiny. Listen, you agreed that fornication is the will of Allah. So now, can I change the destination of Allah?
you cannot change.
Okay. So why now, if that mean in Islam, part of Islam is fornication, and in order to be a good
Allah,
Muslim,
see, don't-
in order to be a good Muslim, you have to follow the destiny of Allah by fornicating.
what I say, in Christianity, every Christian believer can enter into the paradise. Every Christian.
No, not every Christian. I just mentioned
Why
to
you
you.
don't-
I just mentioned to you what Jesus said. It's not saying I'm a Christian make you go to heaven. It's by following the command of God. That's why the Bible says
Yeah.
that fornicators, liars, etc., they will not enter heaven. Is that correct, guys? Does the Bible says
Okay.
that fornicators,
Okay.
liars, thieves, sexual immorality, all of those, they will not enter heaven. The Bible is so clear about that.
Okay.
In Islam,
Okay, for me.
in Islam, it doesn't matter what you do. At the end of the day, it is destiny. So you might go to heaven, you might go not to heaven. It doesn't matter what you do really in your life,
Okay,
because at the end of the day, it's the destiny.
Why confession room in the church, and why Christian people confession to Father? Why confession?
What does have to do with this?
What does
No, the
why
Bible teaches us to
confession
confess
to
our sin.
confess? Why?
Listen, don't change topic.
If
Don't change
any
topic.
Christian-
But let me explain to you.
No, any
We Christian,
no, sir,
we Christian,
sir.
we confess
Sir.
our sin. Listen. See,
And-
Christianity is the opposite of Islam. In Islam, you have to hide your sin. Is that correct?
Hide your sin, right? What is the problem? This is good. This is a safety for us.
No. Because when you hide your sin, you do more sin.
Ah.
Yeah, you hide
How?
you hide the sin, and in fact, in Islam, if you confess your sin, Allah will not forgive you. Is that correct?
If I confess now church father somebody, He can misuse.
No, no.
Lot of
hold on. Listen. No,
lot-
I do not need to confess the church father. I can confess to my brother in Christ. Because, remember in Christianity, in the beginning, there's no church father and there is no priest. And they are just normal people, go in the street, speak to people. There's no bishop. They are just normal people. They are shepherd. They are fishermen. Those are the Christians. So I can confess my sin to Peter. And Peter is not a bishop. Peter is not a patriarch. Peter is not a priest. He is just a man like everybody. Follow Jesus. So confessing sin, the Bible says, confess your sin to each other. To each other. Why? Because simply by confessing our sin, we acknowledge that we are, decent in our, in leaving sin. We don't want to do it again. And we expose ourselves with the truth. We are truthful. So when we confess our sin, first, it's very healthy, because now you don't feel like, you are hiding a secret inside your heart. And when you take it out, even scientifically proven to be a very big relief. However, you have to confess your sin to someone who is a true believer, not someone who's going to take your whatever you told him and you go in the street and start in everybody. But in Islam, if you confess your sin, Allah will not forgive you. Why? Because simply when you confess your sin, you are saying that the destiny of Allah, or you are against the destiny of Allah.
If I confess my sin to my friends, sin will be increase.
Why?
Other people also.
Why sin will be increased?
Naturally.
Why sin will be increased?
Because suppose I do something wrong against Allah, against roadmap.
See,
so if I
first of all,
express my sin
you
to
just
somebody.
debunk your religion, because you said if you do this, your sin will increase. I thought you believe in destiny, which means nothing will increase, nothing will decrease. It's destiny.
This human nature, if I do something wrong, this will, if I confess to others, this will, bad deed will be increased, sir. Very simple logic.
You are simply, if you believe in destiny, if you believe in destiny, then nothing will change. Do you believe in destiny or not?
But how this power will be?
Okay. Hold on. I want to show you something. If a Muslim woman, if you're married to a Muslim woman, and this Muslim woman, she is a virgin when you married her, is virgin in Islam mean that she did not have sex with you, or she was sleeping around?
Again.
When the Muslim, they say virgin, a Muslim woman, she is a virgin. Is a Muslim woman who is a virgin, is someone she slept with 10,000 people, but she did not marry them, or she did not have sex? What virgin mean in Islam?
Sorry,
okay, I will repeat. If a woman, she slept with 10,000 men.
10,000 men. Okay.
Is she, according to Islam, a virgin?
How this possible?
Impossible. No. In fact, in Islam, it doesn't matter how many Muslim women, how many men she slept with, she's a virgin. Because according to Islam, the word virgin or not a virgin happen only if she get married. So if she slept with 10,000 men, according to Islam, just to show you that you Muslims have different definition for everything. So when a Muslim woman, she says she is a virgin, she is not saying she did not have sex with men. She is saying, I did not marry those men I did step with. Let me show you what the Sheikh here says.
No, I want to just say you this, whatever we before discussing confess what of Peter, lot of cases
because
in the
here
market,
because here this woman she confessed to her husband that she slept with hundreds of men before him, and now this man is calling the Sheikh. That's why it says my wife is not a virgin, I want to divorce her. So he called the Sheikh Asim, asking him about the solution. So he corrected him. He says, first of all, the word virgin is not what you think.
A virgin and someone who was
This
previously
Sheikh, why
married.
this
Hold on.
only
So a
speaker? This
virgin
not
Hold on,
is
hold on.
what
a
you.
one who
Hold
did
on, don't
not
talk.
No,
marry
this
before.
different.
Don't
This
talk,
Sheikh,
don't
I
talk.
don't
I want to
like
play the
this
video. I
Sheikh.
want to play the video. Hold on. I want to play the video.
So a virgin is a one who did not marry before. We do not disclose whether she was engaged in premarital relationships and
See?
had one or multiple boyfriends. This is
This
something in the past Allah
this
concealed.
man.
Now,
See?
What this
So
man
listen.
says? This is
So
not my
listen.
mouth.
In Islam, you Muslim, you use words the same as we use. We have the word God, but your
Oh,
God is Satan. You have the word virgin, but your women, they sleep with 10,000 men. Still, she's a virgin for you. You know, you fornicate, you believe in destiny. It was Allah who did it to you. You have sex with boys, you say Allah is destiny made me a homosexual. You know, you kill, you say Allah, he killed, not me. You steal, you say Allah, he made me steal, not me. And then at the end of the day, it's all what you do is not what is going to decide where you go, because you can do all kind of ugly things. According to Islam, still you might go to heaven because it's destiny. So Islam is a stupid religion.
okay, bhaiya. You obey, not obey this. Allah give you free will. Welcome. Thank you very much
Okay.
to talk with you.
All right, you're
Thank you
welcome.
very much.
All right, all right. By the way, it was a destiny of Allah to bring you to this court today. So, guys, look at this man, this stupid religion. The women, she slept with 10,000 men. All right. She said to her husband when before she got married, she's a virgin. It turned to be a Muslim woman. When she says she is a virgin, she is not lying. Because virgin in Islam does not mean she did not have sex. It means she did not get married before.
he's obliged, he's prohibited from telling anyone. After marriage, he feels so close to his wife, he wants to confess. It is totally prohibited. If you do, you're sinful. Allah will not forgive your sins.
See, if you confess your sin to anyone, Allah will not forgive your sin. Islam is totally the opposite of Christianity. Their God is Satan. Believe in destiny of Satan, which means their God destined for them all the evil they do, and they have no choice to do or not. And they have no choice, even if they are Muslims, is going to go to heaven or not. It's just a joke. And then you cannot confess your sin because what that will do, it's destiny anyway. Allah, he made the women fornicate. It was not his choice. Muhammad, he said in the hadith, maktubun ala kullu farjin ismu nakihi. It's written in the name of every man who will F the women in her vagina. So it's written in every woman's vagina the names of those who will F her. She can't change that. Now I'm sure if you are a Muslim woman and you're listening, you might get the magnifier and start looking at your vagina to see if the name of Zakir Naik there, you know. So when they speak of a virgin, they don't have virginity in Islam. It's a joke. So don't make the Muslim fool you. They have the same word we use in a language, God, but their God is Satan. Virginity is fornicating, as you hear this guy saying.
Because this is the hadith. Likewise for a woman. So one says, but Sheikh, I'm a virgin, I want to marry a virgin girl. Well, the definition of virgin in Islam is a woman who's not married. In a marriage contract, we have bikr and thayyib, a virgin and someone who was previously married. So a virgin is a one who did not marry before. We do not disclose whether she was engaged in premarital relationships and had one or multiple boyfriends. This is
She have multiple boyfriends, still she is a virgin. So I warn you Christians always. Like you see, some Christians are very naive. They don't know anything about Islam. So a Muslim, he says genie, they say demon. Muslim don't believe in demon. Don't be stupid. Genie is a creature. He have sex with Muslim women. He have a penis. He poo-poo. What demon? So many of those naive Christians who know nothing about Islam, when a Muslim he says something, He tried to use definition he learned from his culture or his book, if he have a book, if you know anything about his book, because there's many Christians are just Christian by name. And then he tried to apply it on Islam. So when a Muslim, he says, we are not allowed to steal. No, he is allowed to steal, but he's not allowed to steal from non-Muslims. He's allowed to steal from non-Muslims, but he cannot steal from Muslims. When he say we are not allowed to have fornication, no. In fact, Muslims are the biggest fornicators in the world. They just give different names for fornication. As you see, the woman, she is a virgin. Even she have multiple boyfriend before. A virgin in Islam does not mean she did not have sex before. It means she did not get married before. So never apply your own understanding to the garbage of Islam.
Well, the definition of virgin in Islam is a woman who's not married. In a marriage contract, we have bikr and thayyib, a virgin and someone who was previously married. So a virgin is a one who did not marry before. We do not disclose whether she was engaged in premarital relationships and had one or multiple boyfriends. This is something in the past Allah concealed. Now she's a practicing woman, she's a hijabi, niqabi, memorizes the Quran. She's one of the...
She's a good woman now, come on, you know. She have 10,000 boyfriend before, but she was a virgin because virgin means she did not get married before. Get over it. And then the guy will divorce her. She will have multiple boyfriends, and then one day she will confess a guy to marry her. And even if she fornicate, by the way, according to Islam, fornication only if you have intercourse. If you are a Muslim man and married to a Muslim woman, and your wife, she go to the neighbor and she give him a French kiss for 10 hours. She do all kind of sexual behavior with him, sleep naked with him, but he did not do put his thing in the front. If you put it in the back, it's okay. If you put it in the front, that is a fornication. That's it. A man, his name Nabhan Tammar, he came to Muhammad. He told him, a Muslim woman come to my store. I told her, go inside, I have better fruit for you. A Tammar means the one who sell palm date fruit. This coming from the word tamr. So she went inside, and he said, I did with her everything the man do with the women except intercourse. Everything. Muhammad, he said, don't worry. This is called a lamam. This is a small, tiny thing, no problem. Lamam. She's married. Her husband, according to the story, is doing jihad. He joined Hamas. His wife, she go to the guy in the store and he touch her boobs. He put his dude between her legs. He masturbate. He touch her all over. He kiss her all over. And this is called al-lamam. Those are small, tiny things. Allah don't even consider at all. So do you see the difference between what Islam is about? Everything is different. Everything. In fact, even if you find your wife having sex with a man and she is in the top of him or he is in the top of her, I mean, what's the point of being upset if you believe in destiny? It was destiny, the guy will boom boom your wife. But even though if you go to the home and you find your wife with a man doing boom boom to each other, according to Muhammad, you cannot accuse your wife of fornication unless you bring four witnesses, and those 4 witnesses have to see the penis of the man going in and out. 4 of them. So my friend, Islam is not a religion. Muhammad is just an idiot, a foolish man, very, very foolish. It's very easy to debunk and destroy Islam. However, if you are a donkey and you don't want to listen, you don't want to read, you want to think, you just want to swallow anything they put for you on the table, you know, Islam is good for you. This is why, if you go to Saudi Arabia, nobody will dare to accuse his wife of fornication. Why? Because if you do, the Sharia court, they will beat you. Why they will beat you? I just accused her. Because you did not provide 4 witnesses who saw his penis going in. How in the world you can get 4 witnesses seeing the penis going in and out? I don't want to be rude, but just to think about it. If a woman, she is wearing a skirt and she have no panty, and she sit in the top of the guy and they're having sex, even if there's 1 billion witnesses, they cannot see the penis getting in and out. And if she stand up and then they saw the penis alone, well, they did not see it going in and out. All what they saw, the man is and the woman in the top of each other. There's a story, you can search it in Google. 4 men, they come to the caliphate and they say to him, we saw this woman fornicating and this man fornicating. He asked the first man, did you see his penis going in and out like the pen in the inkwell? He said yes. He asked the same question to the second person. He said yes. The third person, did you see the penis going in and out like the pen in the inkwell? He said yes. The fourth one, he asked him, did you see the penis going in and out? He said no, but I saw her feet around his neck and they were shaking like the ears of the donkey when he ran. The caliphate, he says, beat them. There's no proof. So imagine you have 4 witnesses, 4 guys, 3 of them, they saw the penis of the man going in and out. One of them, he saw her legs around his neck, but he did not see the penis. His point of view could not be able to see the penis. And her feet around his neck, and they were shaking like the ears of a donkey, as he described when he's running. Still the caliphate says beat them, because still there's no proof that the guy was doing boom boom to the women. This is Islam. And not only that, the neighbor will, if your wife, excuse my language, will have babies from her, and then the baby of your neighbor, who is maybe your enemy, obviously is your enemy, is going to inherit your money and your name. Because according to Islam, adoption is forbidden. However, the baby belongs to the one who owned the bed. So if you have a wife, she is a Muslim and she is a whore, she sleep with 10,000 men, all the neighbors will inherit your money. Because Muhammad, he says, the boy belonged to the bed, which means the one who owned the bed, the boy belonged to him. So imagine your wife, she cheat on you, she sleep around, and then the boy of the guy who is booming your wife, his boy is going to take your money, your property, and he will give it back to his dad one day. His real dad. الولد للفراش والزاني للحجر. The boy to the bed owner. Isn't it, this is fun? So if you want to seek revenge from somebody and you want to take his money too, you do boom with his wife, she is a whore, and then you make baby from her, okay, and then the baby, he will inherit the father, which is the fake father, and one day you tell the son, you said, son, I am your father, we can go to the DNA test, and then all the money the kid he took from his fake dad will be given to his real dad, the one who fornicate with his mother. Isn't it fun? That is Islam. I'm not going to keep going. I have enough for today. And as you see, we have a very low view. Maybe it's the timing. Maybe you guys are busy. Maybe you like better entertainment. So I will not bother you always. I will come maybe every few days. We will see how long it's going to take to have a good number of a view. And based on that, we will come back. But I noticed that the view is not good. And, you know, if you guys are not interested, I spend my life shouting and nobody will listen. Time to go. Thank you all. God bless you. God is good. So is Jesus. And until we come back, God knows when. Maybe tomorrow, maybe a month later. Until then, we pray that the Lord will guide us and will help us to stay warriors, faithful, and grateful. Thank you.